All right, gang, we'll go ahead and get rolling. A couple of announcements. Please silence your cell phones. Remember to provide your name and media affiliation each time you ask a question. If you're on Zoom, we'll get to you once we're done addressing the questions in the room. And as a reminder, press conferences are not to be recorded on cell phones or cameras. We'll start with an opening statement from head coach Mark Kellogg.
Yeah, well, first and foremost, ton of credit to Coach Banghart, that team, what they've done, their performance tonight. I thought it might be a game a little bit like that, to be honest. It was two elite defensive teams. I thought it might be a little bit of a slugfest. Certainly thought we had a little better offensive performance in us, and it just wasn't our night on the offensive end, and certainly they had a lot to do with that. And so, again, congrats to them, and good luck as they move forward. But really, I'm just so proud of our group. I'm proud of the seniors. I think we always talk about leaving a legacy, leave it better, things better than what you found or what it was when you started at whatever place that is. And I think these guys did that, and we've had a heck of a run. We had a great season. Did we fall a little short in some of our goals? Yes, we did. But that's sport, that's life. In this tournament in particular, only one team is going to finish with a win. We're not going to be that one. But like I said, I couldn't be more proud. Special group of players that, for me 2 years ago when I got the job, you have a vision, you try to paint a picture, and you hope that those current players, which these two to my right were a part of that roster, would of course stay, but ultimately just buy into what we were doing. And they did that, and they've just been so much fun to coach, and we have a great environment, and we've changed the way, I think our program has been looked at. We've been a perennial top 25 team. Our attendance numbers have kind of shot through the roof. We have great players, staff, administrators, just to do something really, really special. So I hope we can continue to build off of it, use this as a growing pain for those that are coming back. But again, super proud of them, proud to be the coach of some really, really talented individuals.
We'll start with questions for our student athletes, J.J. Quinterly and Kaya Watson, down in the front.
Tanner Brown, 292 Radio. JJ, obviously not the outcome or probably performance that you were hoping for tonight, but when you look back on it, when it's all said and done, how do you want to be remembered as a Mountaineer?
I hope to be remembered as probably one of the best guards to ever play at West Virginia University. I think I did a lot under a lot of different coaches, and honestly, like he said, I think I left a legacy here, and I left the program better than it was when I first came in.
For Kaya and JJ, can you just talk about, it just seemed like there were moments in the game that were tough matchups for you guys, whether it was Utsby or Maria when she was in the game down low. Can you just talk about the struggles in defending some of those matchups at different times in the game?
I'll just say, I think they did a good job of maybe finding mismatches. We just couldn't really get stop after stop, and that kind of hurt us. But, I thought our effort was there, so.
JJ?
Honestly, same thing as she said. We couldn't pull stops. We couldn't get any kills, like Coach Kellogg says, and kind of just wore on us as the game go. The score get a little wider, so just, yeah.
Down in the middle.
Luke Blaine, Daily Athenaeum. So, JJ, a lot's been made of you, sticking around through 3 coaching changes at WVU, especially in the era of the transfer portal. What has kept you in Morgantown, and what has WVU meant to you during your 4 years?
Honestly, the group of girls that I had around me, like Kaya Watson, Jayla Hemingway, those girls that stayed, Kylie Blackston, those girls who stayed, especially Jordan Harrison. I could have left probably any time in my career and probably could have went anywhere in the country. And I chose to stay in West Virginia just to make that legacy that I told y'all about earlier. And like I said, I think I've done that, and yeah.
Debbie Strom in Chapel Borough. Can you speak to the crowd and the noise and being an away game, so to speak?
Kaya, you want to take this one?
I'd say it's kind of like any game, I don't think anything kind of will compare to what we played at last year at Iowa, but, they had a good number of fans come out, so it's always awesome to see. But I think for the most part, we just tried to stay together, kind of tune it out, play our own game.
Coach, Corner Roby from U92.
Sir, well, student athletes first, and then we'll get to Coach.
able to get anything going. What was kind of your mindset to kind of flip the switch there in the fourth quarter? You were able to get to the foul line a couple of times. What was kind of your mindset going through that?
I'm pretty hard to guard on the perimeter, so just attacking them, I would say, never mind, but yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Kai, we've talked about Jay after this point, but you come beyond that. So, for your perspective, looking back over WU.
I would say that each year I was there was special. I can't thank Coach Kellogg and the coaching staff enough. I love all of them. They've helped me grow as a person, both on and off the court. My teammates, all my 3 years were great, and the fan base in West Virginia is awesome. They love us. We love them. So I think just that. I'm going to miss that.
Megan Smith, the Daily Tar Heel. Question for JJ or Kaya. Just what's it like trying to handle someone who's so dynamic like Alyssa Usby? How is that in game time, trying to just limit her possession, limit her shots?
Kaya,
I would say just trying to make it as difficult as we could for her to even catch the ball, kind of push her out to, further away from the basket. But, she's a good player. She scored, got to the free throw line. So, we didn't do a great job, but.
Anything else for our student athletes? Thank you, ladies. Questions for Coach Kellogg?
Oh, great. Out of here.
Justin Jackson with the Dominion Post. Can you just talk about the defensive matchups? I'm sure it probably didn't go quite how maybe you had envisioned on paper, and did their size and athleticism really kind of make a difference in this game?
Yes, they scored 58 points. I don't think it was our defense. It was our offense. We shot 24%, right? What do we shoot, 24? Yeah, we shot 24% and 9.5% from the three. It's going to be hard to win when you score 47 points. We can win games holding teams to 58. So I thought our effort on the defensive end was really good. I thought we competed. I thought we held them down long enough to see if we could make a run. We never made any runs. So I don't know the kills and the stops, but when we hold somebody to 58, there's going to be some pretty good defensive possessions. Obviously, Utsby got us. That was the one. That was the matchup problem. We have one possession where was there 4 fouls, I think, all on her on the out of bounds, and we had 3 or 4 different people trying to defend her. So we tried man, tried zone. It was a little bit of a matchup problem. I played against her. I don't remember. I think maybe she was a sophomore when we played against them in the NCAA tournament, and she's worked hard on her game and her ability to stretch it and shoot it, and always been a huge fan of hers from when we prepared for them a few years ago. So fantastic player, but they're great. They're great defensively. They can spread you. They have different people offensively. I think that's the hard matchup from the offensive end, is they just have so many kids, and you don't know who it's going to be on each night. So with Maria gets 5 points, and that's their leading scorer. Certain ways you would think you'd have a really good chance, but then you let Utsby get 10 plus, over her average. So that was probably more disappointing from the offensive end than what we did defensively.
Cody Nesper, West Virginia Sports Now. Mark, the second year in a row, it seemed like the whistle got tighter in the second half. Is that just the way tournament games go, and how hard does that make it, down the stretch?
Yeah, it was. There wasn't a lot of flow. I didn't think to that game. I don't know that I have another comment really. I didn't think the whistle necessarily went our way, but we're on somebody else's home floor. Officials have human nature too. Crowd gets into it, they feed it, but it wasn't. That had nothing to do with the outcome.
Quinn Roby, U92. In the first quarter, you switched from that man-to-man press to the zone. Do you feel like it was did you do that to give your offense a bit of a spark since it was kind of stalled out there?
We tried several different things. I don't know that we went to it maybe as early as you were thinking, but we did mix it up a little bit just to, which is normal for us. That's not abnormal. It's just to keep them off balance and give them different looks. And switch from man to zone and those types of things. And yeah, we just never got a rhythm. And so we were trying to, how can we help an offensive rhythm? I think we lose by 11, and they beat us by 12 on points off turnovers, and that's typically a stat that we win. But we got to the free throw line. We didn't shoot threes very well. We did some things okay. Actually beat them second chance points, which isn't a strength of ours. And so our best strength of all is turning people over, and we didn't do a very good job of that in this game, and that's a credit to them.
Tanner Mounts, U92 Radio. Coach, you touched upon the seniors. I'm just wondering what they meant to this program, because there's a lot that have played for a while, and how hard can it be to keep the program moving upward when you lose a group like that?
Yeah, well, they've meant a lot, obviously, and all of their journeys have been really different. Obviously, we've talked about JJ's journey. Kaya's journey was different than Kylie's journey, and there's other seniors that, didn't get in the game tonight that, were a part of this basketball team that had a different journey. Tirza had a different journey. So all great stories, really close group. That's what I've enjoyed most about my 2 years here so far, is just it's an easy team to coach. They're just really good kids. They do the right things. They work hard. It's fun to show up to work every day when you have a staff and team like we've had over the last couple years. And, so no, that's part of coaching, is trying to sustain it now. Like, kids graduate every single year, so that's not abnormal. And finding scoring is typically okay. We're going to lose some quality players, and we understand that. And so now you go to the portal, I guess. That's how you go about it at this point.
Cody Nesper, West Virginia Sports Now. Mark, there's probably not a single answer to this, but how do you think as a program you kind of get over the hump to hosting and into the Sweet 16 and make that next step?
Well, win more games, I guess. Continue to play the schedule, win the games, the right ones. That was, for us, we didn't win enough probably in the quad one, to get the home game. I think we're close. Obviously, we're closer now than we were a year ago. So I think we're at the doorstep. I keep saying every time I get into this game, though, the advantage of playing at home is significant. And if that's the rules of the NCAA, then we need to continue to work really, really hard to see if we can get one of these in Morgantown, because I think that environment would be ridiculously off the charts and be so much fun for our community and our state. So we're going to go to work on that and see if we can't. But it certainly helps, I think, when you're playing at home in these first two rounds.
Daniel Woods, WV Metro News. Kaya, the last couple of years, has been the unsung hero of this team in a lot of ways. And tonight, kind of a vintage performance from her, 9 points, 15 rebounds, couple of steals. And she really sparked the run where you guys took the lead in the third. Just as far as her play tonight and over your 2 years with her in Morgantown, what can you say about what she's meant to the program?
Yeah, I've routinely called her the glue of our team. She's the kid that I have the hardest time taking off the court because she does so much for us. And it's not always scoring with Kaya. I thought she was a little more assertive tonight. The rebounds, which at one point I said, just go get every rebound, please. I don't know what else to tell them. Just go get every one of them, which she has the ability to do. But, the great part, too, is if you've seen Kaya just transform her body into this elite athlete. She's so fast twitch and just so explosive and a phenomenal defender. Reluctant at times to score, so that was always our, kind of push for her was always, if you could be a little more aggressive offensively, that would be perfectly fine with the rest of us. But yeah, just fantastic kid, works hard in the gym a lot, just really easy go lucky type kid. It's a pleasure to be around. So yeah, we'll miss her and several of them. Yeah, I think what you just described, and I guess they can tell you a little bit more about what that game plan was, but from our end, which we knew, we really thought they were going to work really hard to limit Jordan and JJ touches in the paint. They have bigger bodies, so they were going to take up a little more space. They were playing off Kaya a little bit, so I think SB, that was her matchup, so she was not completely all the way at the three-point line. And, I like the other night, I thought we got to the rim about when we wanted to. That was going to be more difficult tonight, so we spent time talking offensively about moving it, make it go side to side maybe first. We had some screening actions that we wanted to get to. At times we did, at times we just didn't trust it. kept writing that on the board that we've got to trust each other. I thought when we cut, we got some really good layups, but it just wasn't enough. And then we had some good looks from three. Some were forced that were bad possessions, but I thought we had some good looks, and we knew we were going to have to make some threes to probably win this game. So I thought we needed 7 or 8 threes probably to win.
Tanner Mounts, U92 Radio, coach, the WNBA draft just a couple weeks away. What would you say to any NBA team that might be considering drafting J.J. Corley?
Yeah, I mean, I think from what I know, they have all the information that they probably need. So they've been in communication with us, but she's going to have a great opportunity. She's going to play basketball beyond it. What I've said about J.J. all the time is ball in hand, I think she's as dynamic as any guard in the country. Defensively, guarding the ball, I think she's as good as an on-ball defender as anybody, which she's now up for the Defensive National Player of the Year. So, I think she's a complete two-way player. She's going to be a little bit smaller, so somebody's going to have to figure out what that niche is, in the WNBA. But, yeah, I hope she gets her number called on draft night and gets in a training camp and goes and makes us all proud, which she'll do regardless of what it looks like. But it's really hard, in the WNBA. There's first-round draft picks that don't necessarily stick on rosters. So the hard work is in front of her, but I think she's prepared, and the kid works at an ultimate level, always in the gym. She's put in the time. She wants to be great. She enjoys playing in the biggest games, which is probably why this one hurts the most for her.
Last one for Coach.
One more on JJ. Early on in the game, maybe second quarter, maybe late first quarter, it just seemed like maybe she was trying too hard, maybe. I don't know if you agree with that or not. You had to kind of take her out for a couple seconds to get her to settle down. Can you just kind of talk about just maybe how weird her beginning of the game was?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that she maybe was a little bit just probably excited, wanting to help her team. Just, trying too hard. I don't know. The kid was just trying to give us everything she could, and maybe things that worked the other night, she was just still trying to go back to that a little bit early. But yeah, it was take her out, let her calm down, catch her breath. I thought Jordan maybe was a little wound up also there early, and they're fumbling the ball around and those types of things. And that's another thing. We got to figure out this ball. These balls are like aired up way more than ever all year long. I don't know what the heck's going on here, but we got to get that figured out. But anyway, she was just sped up like we all were. Big game, a lot of emotion. We even wrote on the board to settle in quickly, kind of control your emotions. I thought we did that really well the other night against Columbia, and probably not quite as well tonight, at least to start.
Alrighty. Thank you, Coach. Congrats on a great season.
Thanks, everybody.
All right. We've got North Carolina here. We'll start with a statement from head coach Courtney Banghart.
Man. Oh, I just am overfilled with pride for this group. If you think about what Carmichael looked like tonight and how many people have wrapped their arms around this team and willed us to wherever we need to be. Carmichael is a great place to host. Our kids earned it, and they showed up for us. I mean, that was one of the better environments that I think anyone's ever played in or for my case, coached in. So it's not a night, that's a night I will remember for a long time, how many people just have wrapped their arms around these guys, and they deserve it. I'll be honest, it's a really good team, as you all know. There's no bad teams in March, unfortunately, but I was tired of hearing about their defense. And not because it's not one of the best defenses in the country, but why was no one talking about our defense? Right? These guys can defend, and they've done it all year long. And we knew exactly how we were going to defend them. And I know those of you who have followed us know that's no surprise how we defended them tonight. So I think us hearing about their defense allowed us to sort of say, okay, we're going to show and we're going to prove it. These two sitting next to me, I mean, grateful they chose Carolina and how they've represented us. Alyssa, thank you. Thank you for how you've handled your career, how you've worn Carolina on your chest, and who you've brought along with you. I know people are going to be talking about that being your legacy game, and you deserve everything you felt tonight. So it's a joy to coach you. You've made me better. You've allowed me to get better players here as well. And you doing things the right way show that that's enough always. So thanks for choosing Carolina.
We'll take questions for our student athletes, Alyssa Usby and India Navarre.
Yeah, Jeremiah Holloway with Inside Carolina. India, this one's for you. You guys had that run at the end of the third quarter. You kind of closed it out with you had the sequence with you blocked the shot, ran the court, and then you got the layup to end the quarter. Just take me through that sequence a little bit. Like, what do you kind of remember about what you were seeing in that play? And then also, how much did that third quarter run spark you guys for the rest of the game?
Oh, yeah. So I think our preparation prepared us for that moment. We knew they were going to fight back. So we just know we had to match their toughness. That end of the third quarter, we were just staying with our principles. We stayed disciplined. And I was put in a great position to get that block. And then Lexi passed it up for me for the layup. But no, I think as a team, we were really focused this game. And we really wanted it for our seniors because we didn't get it done on senior night. So we wanted to end tonight with a win for them. Yeah.
Debbie Stroman, Chapel Borough, congratulations on the great win. Alyssa, your determination is amazing every game, but tonight I saw it in all the players. So if you all could both speak to what you all said as leaders and captains to be able to get the team so focused tonight.
Yeah, I think Indy kind of talked about it a little bit right there. Losing on senior night is tough, and not knowing if we would for sure be able to secure a hosting spot, that's what's been kind of driving us since that senior night. And we've just had a lot of fire. Like, we are really excited. We love playing with each other, and we want to keep playing. We want to keep the season going, and so there's not anything that's going to stop us. We're going to keep being determined and locking into our game plan and making sure that we can come out with these wins.
India?
Yeah, I think this group means a lot to all of us. Like, our connectedness is it's a lot on and off the court. I feel like our chemistry is really great, and we just wanted to fight to play again because we love each other and we wanted to get another opportunity to play another game.
In the back.
Lindsay Gibbs with Power Plays. India, North Carolina girl, Duke waiting in the next round, in North Carolina State already making their way through as well. Seeing where women's basketball is in this state and being such an integral part of that, how does that feel, and how excited are you for that Sweet 16 game?
Oh, yeah. The Triangle is a hoop state. Like, North Carolina is a hoop state, and I think it just shows that all three schools making it to this next round. But, no, yeah, it's really exciting to be in my hometown. You know, a lot of people get to come to my games, which I didn't have my freshman year. But, yeah, having that support, I think, has really helped me along my journey here.
Down here to the left.
James Moore, the Fayetteville Observer. Alyssa, can you kind of comment back on what Coach Banghart said about your legacy here at Carolina? And also, India, can you kind of talk about what Alyssa has done for you and for the team as a whole, just kind of to be a leader for this team?
Yeah, my decision to come to Carolina, I felt like Coach Banghart stuck her neck out for me because I wasn't in the ESPN Top 100, and I was bringing our class rank down, and she trusted me, and I knew that would take us a long way, and I would do so much for this program, and I'd run through a brick wall, which I hope I've shown over my career here for 5 years. And I'm just super grateful for her for having that trust in me and continuing to invest in me, challenge me to get better. And then just continuing to recruit great kids. I'm so glad that India came back to UNC, and we have so many girls on our team that have made the experience so enjoyable, and they continue to fill me with joy. And this season has been my most enjoyable season because of the people that are here on this team.
India, your thoughts on Alyssa?
Oh, yeah, I can go on a whole rant about Alyssa, but she embodies the Carolina culture. She sets our standard, and she demands the best out of everybody around her. She makes everybody around her better, and she will be missed. Like, I'm going to miss her so much because even on my down days, Alyssa picks us up because she never has a bad day, which is surprising. But, yeah, that's just her. She's a dog. She always works hard, and it's just an inspiration to everybody on the team.
Michael?
Michael Code, WCHL, chapelboro.com. Alyssa, your freshman year here, there were no fans in the stands. Your last game here, you heard what your head coach said about the environment. Just what did it mean to you, just on your personal journey, to see the arena loud, rowdy, pretty much all night, really supporting you guys toward this win?
It is such a special feeling. And again, like you said, just to see the growth over the years, I think that's just a testament to what Coach Banghart is building here. And I'm just so glad that I was able to be a part of it and to give everything I could to it, to leave it off better than we found it. And we've been doing a great job so far. But I think the community that is here to support us is committed to the players that are on our team. They love our team so much because we have built a relationship with them, and we continue to thank our fans and make that connection. And so it feels like a family environment, and I bet it's a really tough place to play when teams come in here and try to get the smoke with us, because like we have an incredible fan base and our players are really fun to cheer for.
Mitch.
Mitch Northam, SB Nation. Alyssa, saw you jump up on the scorer's table. When the players all walk off of 4-2, you're the last one sort of waving to the fans and stuff. Can you just kind of walk me through the thoughts and emotions of not only, the excitement of jumping on the table, but then walking off the last time as a player?
Yeah, I mean, I've always wanted to jump on a table, on a scores table before. And I was like, this is just set up to be the perfect moment, and I have to go for it. Took a little bit of courage because I'm like, should I do it? And I asked my assistant coach, Coach Joe, I was like, should I do it? And she's like, without a doubt, there's no question. And so that was so much fun. I loved it. Again, that was like a reaction, or like a chance for me to like hype up the fans and kind of celebrate them too, because they've been a part of my journey for so long and have trusted me as a player to develop over my years, because I didn't come in as a star athlete or a star player. And so they've just trusted me along this journey, and then walking off the court and just giving one last goodbye, taking a good look around, because I know that that's a moment that I'm going to cherish for so long. And I am really sad that that was my last game in Carmichael, but overjoyed at what's ahead.
Last one, Ariel.
Ariel Bottom with Tar Heel Tribune. India, their leading score was held to single digits for the first time this season low. What did you and Lexi and Renaya do to hold her down?
All year, we focused on our defense, and we knew our defense was one of the best in the country, and that's because we have everybody on our team takes accountability to stop people on the other team, stop them from their favorite moves and stuff. And it wasn't a one-person job at all. I think we all bought into being in the gaps and helping one another, and not having anybody on the island, because it was going to take everybody to defend their really good guards.
Thank you, ladies. Congratulations. Y'all can take your name cards if you want. And questions for Coach Banghart. Mitch?
Yeah, Mitch Northam, SB Nation. Coach, I know sometimes when the brackets come out, you want to just focus on the one game ahead, but it's also human nature to just sort of, hey, this might happen. Now it's here. You're going to play Duke in the Sweet 16. What are the emotions kind of going into that and setting up such a monumental matchup on a monumental stage?
Yeah. And, how fun if we weren't, because I think these 3 North Carolina schools could go even further, right? And so now, of course, one won't advance. As I told our guys in the locker room just now, is that these moments are so hard. They're hard to get to. I mean, I remember all the hard times, and I'm still living them, right? But so it sounds like coach speak, but I told them in the locker room, we're going to enjoy this one, because I just know how I'm wired, and tomorrow morning it'll be I went right back in my zone. So super cool for this area, super cool for our state. Again, a disappointment that someone's got to lose that game, because the ACC will have one less team advance. But I'll have a lot more thoughts on that as we get closer to the game. Tonight, I'm just, 2 Sweet 16s in 4 years, and this team making it this way and hosting in front of their own home crowd. And people showed up for them both nights. I mean, if I don't take that in, I'm not going to last long in this business.
Down to the right.
Good job, Coach.
Thank you.
want to talk about the strategy with the point guards.
Yeah.
Your development of 3 point guards, Grant, Townsend, and Kelly, to take on West Virginia. So could you speak to your trust and development in them?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's the one position you really can't play basketball without, right? And no offense to any of the other positions, but the person who can handle the ball while also running tempo for a team is critical. And so knowing that we had Renaya, and I've trusted her from the very beginning. I always trust my recruiting, just like Alyssa said. I didn't need ESPN to tell me that she was good enough or wasn't good enough. I watched her with my own 2 eyes, right? And so Renaya, you might remember, she started here as a freshman. I trusted her, right? And then Grace, when she went in the portal, I was the first coach to call her. And you could say all the things that, some people might say, oh, she's too short or she never played Power 5. Again, trust your eyes. That's a kid I knew could help us. And she plays the game so different than Renaya, right? And so I don't want her to try to be Renaya. I wanted her to be her best self. And so she's a tempo creator, and I thought she's really, throughout the season, settled into that. And then Lainey, you can see how special she's going to be, and needs continue to have time to marinate how she's playing throughout the games. But she gives us a ton of versatility there, and she'll play the one even more differently than the other two. But I like all the options there, and we'll continue to develop them.
Kate Shoemaker with the Daily Tar Heel. Awesome moment at the end of that game when you guys were coming off the court and all the practice boys were lined up, and you come in there and you're like in the mosh pit in the middle of them, and you invite them into the locker room.
Yeah.
What do they mean to this team, and also how important were they in preparing this team for the press that you guys faced today?
I mean, everything. I mean, they come at 9 a.m. in the morning on Saturdays. I told them I was bummed out that the game might be during the middle of the day, and they were like, well, we'll just miss class. We're not missing it. These are like their sisters, and they're like our brothers. And they've been as much of my journey as my own team has, because they're with me all the time. And I somehow got onto the fellows group chat, and I'm telling you, they are with this team, whether we're away or home, and I can yell at them if they're not doing what I'm asking them to do. They watch film to know how they're going to have to play. These guys were pressing for the last 2 days, like everywhere on the court, and they just did it. And then sometimes I go to the next thing, and they don't even get water, and we're like, you're fine, keep going. And so, I mean, everyone has scout guys, but I'd put mine up against any in the country.
Down here to the left.
James Moore with the Fayetteville Observer. Coach, you guys fouled out 2 post players, almost a guard, J.J. Quinley. Can you kind of talk about the approach in your toughness and how you approach the post and help them, kind of get out of that situation?
Yeah, Maria does a really good job of that on her own. She drew how many fouls? She drew 5 fouls. And then we actually decided late in the third there, or middle of the third there, to put Alyssa at the 5 because they were not as mobile given their foul trouble. And so you probably saw we ran a bunch of ISOs on different spots on the floor so that she could attack hips. And even in that late inbound, we ran the same inbound all 3 times. And all 3 times I just said attack a hip, attack a hip. And so, when Alyssa can defensively play the 5, it's a real advantage for us on the offensive end. Again, we just needed to attack hips. You can't play a press team. I don't want to break their press and then break their defense, right? And so we wanted to be aggressive all night, and that's different than how we had to play against Oregon State.
Lindsay Gibbs with Power Plays. Coach, there was a moment fairly early in the fourth quarter where Alyssa got a block, ran back for a fast break. They called a timeout, and you showed a little more emotion than you usually do on the sidelines. There was a stomp, there was a yell. What was going through your mind at that point? Did you feel like you had it?
Yeah, when my guys are aggressive, they were really hard to beat. And obviously with the time and score and how well we were defending as the lead was extended, I just didn't think they were all of a sudden going to score a ton of points on us, right? And how much we love these guys. I wanted it so bad for them, right? And I wanted it so bad for the community that wanted us to host and helped us get there. And so, I think that was real. That feeling was real. I was just so joyed for them. And watching how they came together starting in June, and all of them have their own journeys, and we're right there with them. It was just so rewarding. And so, I try to keep focused on what needs to happen next, but in that moment, I was just overjoyed for them.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
2 quick questions.
Okay.
One, you look like you were shivering. Was it a massive water dumping
Yeah,
that you did
cold
there?
water too. I asked, it's interesting, because on the way to shoot around this morning, someone handed me a water, and it was from an ice tub. And I was like, do you think the population prefers room temperature water or cold temperature, and so we had a big debate about it. And I'm on record that I think people would prefer room temperature water. Well, that's not what got poured on me. It was marinating all day, so I'm freezing.
Okay, and then the last 11 minutes, they had one field goal.
Yeah.
Was that the best defensive stretch, considering the competition that you've had all season? And how did you do it?
Yeah, I thought we defended Tanaya Latson really well in the ACC tournament as well. So it's hard to pick from the two. But we knew that we needed to stop her initial attack, chest to the ball. And then we knew she can snake you back. And so your gap is actually sometimes the one that's, as she goes away from you, you got to follow her. So there were some tactical things that our guys just we said no islands, no islands, no islands. And our guys were really shifty, and we really tried to clog up. We wanted to be high at the point of all screens. I mean, we really wanted her to play in a crowd and all night, like we did Latson. And our guys have done a good job of that both times we've asked.
Michael?
Hey there, Courtney. Michael Coe, WCHL, chapelboro.com. You coached against a Mark Kellogg coach team in 2022 with Stephen F. Austin out in Tucson.
Mm-hmm.
Was there anything tactically or strategically that you took from that game to prepare for this one?
No, just that he's a really good coach and he has really good teams. He actually ran more of a 5-out at SFA. They still pressed a lot, but he had that international kid that was a bear to guard, but more so because she was a stretch shooter and could stretch you out. This team's totally different because they've got some of the more dynamic guards that we've seen. Thankfully, the ACC has prepared us for that, but totally different game plans in those ways. But to go to a Sweet 16, I mean, I was watching games all day, and it's just hard. There's so many good teams. So, not a lot of takeaways. Well defended tonight by the team that never got talked about how good our defense was.
Mitch North of SB Nation. A year ago today, I was in a press conference with you after a really tough game, after a really tough finish to a season. I was just kind of wondering what you make of sort of the journey in the past year, especially of the players who got through that adverse situation, battled through it, and now you're here and you're hosting, and now you're going to the Sweet 16. There were a lot of players still here that were on the court that day.
For sure.
And just what you make of kind of their perseverance through all that.
Well said, perseverance. When I got with Alyssa after the season, I said, here's the deal. You have to add another layer to your game, and I'm here for you, right? But you have earned the right to make the decisions that are right for you. Don't worry about me, And she right away was like, I want you to help me keep getting better. I said, but I want to make sure that you trust us that we can host in the NCAA tournament. We can do that. And she was like, that's why I'm coming back, right? India's journey, who has a much bigger role this year. Maria had made major strides. Renaya made major strides. It validates the work, right? Because people don't see the 8 a.m. in this gym. I mean, I feel like I live in this gym, right? They don't see the 8 to 9, 9 to 10, where you're just working on their own skill set. And sometimes you're just talking to them about hey, where are you in this moment? How are you in this moment, right? And then, of course, you come back in the afternoon and have your team practice. And so it's just so rewarding when their journey turns out that as I told them, you deserve it. It doesn't mean that you're going to get it, right? You've got to go earn it. And they were able to earn it in a 40-minute game. It all came down to that.
Last one in the middle.
Lindsay Gibbs with Power Plays. You've wanted to host for so long. How did it compare?
It was even better. Thank you for asking. When I was at Princeton, someone said I'd been to 13 of the last 18 tournaments. I'm telling you, it's way better when you're hosting. Way better. And then, of course, I had wanted it so much that you're like, oh God, what if it's not as awesome as I've hoped for, right? Sort of like when I had told the Carolina team, we've got to get to the NCAA tournament. There's nothing like it, because they hadn't been of that group that I had. And then it was COVID. And I was like, I promise it's usually way better than this, right? And so I was so hopeful that we hosted. And then when we did, I was like, oh my God, imagine if it's not all that we wanted. And it was more. It really was more. I think we've had great crowds here since over the last 2 years or so, maybe even more, 3 years. This one felt different, as did whatever night the last game was. It just felt different. And maybe that's me, or maybe it's recognizing that they willed us here, we got here, and then they showed up again, and they were loud, and they wanted it as much as our guys did. So it was even better than I could have hoped for.
Room temperature water.
Yeah, room temperature water. You do cold water? You just gave me a room temperature water.
It come from the fridge. It wasn't by choice.
Guys, room temperature water, let's do a straw poll. Or ice water, room temperature. Yeah.
Psychopaths.
It's a lot of people.
Thank you, Coach.
You're welcome.
Congratulations.
Thank you.